All right, let's talk about something that's all about one thing: peace of mind. We're diving into the world of anal prep. And look, we're going to get into the real science of it, bust some pretty serious myths, and lay out a guide so you can feel safe, secure, and just relaxed. So just to set the stage, let's start with this number: 65%. That's nearly 2/3 of men who have sex with men who say they douche. So if this is something on your mind or part of your routine, you are definitely not alone. This is a super common practice for a lot of people. And this really gets to the core of it, right? It's not just about being physically clean. For most of us, it's about psychology. It's about turning down the volume on that little voice in your head that's full of what ifs. The whole point is to feel comfortable enough to just be in the moment and not worry. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk about that quest for confidence. Then, a quick anatomy lesson to bust a huge myth. After that, the best way to prep, your diet. Then, for those who still want to, a safer way to douche. And finally, we'll get real about the risks. Okay, first up, the quest for confidence. Let's get into the why of it all, the anxiety behind it, and what we're actually trying to achieve here. And here's the absolute most important thing to get straight right from the start. Douching might be common, but it is not a medical requirement for having a good time. The goal isn't to turn your body into some kind of sterile operating room. It's just to feel confident. That's it. That's the end game. All right, so how do we get that confidence safely? Well, it really comes down to knowledge. Honestly, if you understand how your own body works, you're already 90% of the way there. So let's separate the facts from some pretty wild fiction. So part one of our tour is the rectum. It's the last 6 to 8 inches of your large intestine. The best way to think of it is like a short-term waiting room. It's actually designed to be empty almost all the time. It only fills up right before you need to go. So this is really the only area we need to even think about cleaning. Now, right above that waiting room is this part, the sigmoid colon. And this is the main warehouse. Your body is incredibly smart. It stores pretty much everything upstairs in the warehouse far away from the exit until it's actually time to make a delivery. Your body's design is seriously on your side here. So this right here, this is the golden rule. You only, and I mean only, want to focus on the waiting room, the rectum. The second you try to flush out the warehouse, the sigmoid colon, you're not cleaning anymore. You're actually making a bigger mess. You're literally stirring the pot, and that is the last thing you want to do. Which brings us to this one. This is a massive and kind of dangerous myth that just won't go away. It's this idea that there's a second ring deep inside that you have to somehow blast through to get clean. Let's just put this one to bed for good. Okay, so that feeling, that second ring, that's a real thing, anatomically. It's called the recto-sigmoid junction. Think of it as the door between the waiting room and the warehouse. Trying to force water past that door is, like it says here, totally counterproductive. You are literally knocking on the warehouse door and inviting the mess out. Stick to a shallow clean. It's the only way that's actually effective and safe. So if going deep is a bad idea, what's the best plan? Well, let's talk about the safest, most effective method there is: getting proactive with your diet. This is about playing the long game, building a healthy gut that basically does all the hard work for you. And here's the playbook. Fiber is going to be your absolute best friend. It helps make everything, solid and clean. But, and this is a big but, fiber needs water to work its magic, so you got to stay hydrated. It's also a good idea to maybe skip super spicy or greasy stuff about a day beforehand. Oh, and one really important note, if you take a supplement like psyllium husk, make sure you take it at least 2 hours before or after meds like prep, because it can mess with how they're absorbed.
Okay, but for those times when you just want that extra bit of confidence, let's be smart about it. Let's treat douching for what it is, an occasional tool for comfort. This is all about reducing any potential harm.
So before you even start, let's get the setup right. The best liquid, believe it or not, is just lukewarm salt water. It's way gentler on your body than plain tap water. And temperature is key. It has to be lukewarm. Too hot and you can cause serious internal burns. Always, always use plenty of lube on the nozzle. And this should be obvious, but I have to say it. Never use soap, bleach, or anything else that doesn't belong inside your body. The process should be quick and gentle. Lube up the nozzle and only insert it an inch or two. Remember, shallow is the name of the game. Squeeze gently. You only need a small amount of water. Hold it for just a few seconds, then let it out. You should only need to repeat this like 2 or 3 times at most. And here's a pro tip. Wait a good half hour or so before you do anything, just to make sure everything's out. Now, equipment really matters. A simple squeeze bulb is great because you control the volume. A shower hose attachment, though, that's a huge no. You have zero control over the pressure, and you risk something called barotrauma, which is a fancy word for injuring yourself with high-pressure water. It can literally tear your insides. It is incredibly dangerous, so please just don't do it.
Okay, there's a reason for all this caution. Let's get to the bottom line and talk about the actual health risks. Because knowing this stuff is what really gives you the power to keep yourself safe. See, when you douche too often or too aggressively, you're actually weakening your body's natural defenses. You wash away the good bacteria and the protective mucus lining. This can make the tissue inside inflamed and weak. Doctors call it friable tissue, which means it can tear much more easily. And that, in turn, can seriously increase your risk for STIs, including HIV. And this isn't just theoretical. The physical damage is real. About 1 in 10 guys who douche report rectal bleeding. That's not just some minor thing. That is a clear signal that the tissue has been damaged. If you ever feel pain or see blood, you need to stop. And this might just be the single most important thing to remember from all of this. Feeling clean is not the same thing as being protected. Douching does not prevent STIs. It's a tool for your brain, for your confidence. It is never, ever a substitute for condoms or PrEP.
So, let's end with this question, because it reframes the whole thing. This stuff can cause so much anxiety, this chase for perfection. But perfection is impossible. The goal isn't to be sterile. It's to be informed, to be safe, and ultimately to just be confident in your own skin.